Hey everyone, welcome back to the fifth and final video in my series on retiring in Mexico City. Today we're going to take a deep dive into my top choice for neighborhoods to retire into, Coyoacan. I should probably learn how to pronounce it correctly. This charming area has so much to offer, from rich history and beautiful architecture to its green spaces and traditional Mexican feel. So let's get into it and explore why Coyoacan could be the perfect place for your retirement. First of all, let's get a little bit into where it's located. And it is more on the southern part of Mexico City. It's about a 20-minute drive from the historic center. It's well connected by public transportation, which makes it very easy to reach any other part of the city you'd like. It is known for its colonial era streets and plazas. It's kind of like stepping back in time. I absolutely love it. It provides a very peaceful contrast to that bustling downtown area. You can still get there and go enjoy it and then come home. Nearby, you'll find neighborhoods of San Angel and Ciudad University. I don't even know why I tried to say that in Spanish. This is home to the National Autonomous University of Mexico. So why Coyoacan? This is much more traditional in that Mexican atmosphere. There isn't a Chili's on the corner. I'm sure you can find a Starbucks, but I didn't see one. It is very evident. There's like cobblestone streets, colorful houses, historic buildings. The neighborhood's history dates back to pre-Hispanic times, and it's played a significant role during the colonial period. Walking through Coyoacan feels like stepping back in time. It has a great preservation of the architecture and a very charming ambiance. One of the highlights of Coyoacan is the beautiful green spaces, and I know Condesa has green spaces, Polanco, even Roma Norte has some smaller ones, but the Parque Centenario and the adjoining Jardin Hidalgo, this is the heart of the neighborhood, and it seems like everybody gathers there. It's just gorgeous. There's fountains and sculptures, plenty of shade. These parks are surrounded by cafes, street vendors. It's a great spot to relax, enjoy the local culture, grab a bite to eat, people watch. Coyoacan is also a food lover's paradise. You might not have the same types of restaurants that you would find in Polanco, and I think it's better for it. You will find a variety of restaurants and cafes serving traditional Mexican dishes, as well as international cuisine. And there's plenty of street food here, from the tacos to the churros, which I've mentioned several times. There is something for everyone. Some local favorites include the Mercado de Coyoacan, where you can sample an array of delicious treats. Shopping in Coyoacan is a unique experience, and again, you can grab a metro or an Uber and go to any box store, any other part of Mexico, but in Coyoacan, there are many local boutiques and markets offering handmade crafts, clothing, souvenirs. The Bazaar Artisanal Mexicano is a great place to find traditional Mexican goods, while numerous bookstores, art galleries, it all adds to that neighborhood's cultural richness. Coyoacan also is home to several museums, including Frida Kahlo's house. This is also known as the Blue House. This is where the famous artist actually lived and worked. Another notable museum is the Museo Nacional de Culturas Populares. This showcases Mexican folk art and traditions. The Central Plaza, which is the Plaza Hidalgo, this is a hub of activity. It is surrounded by historic buildings filled with locals and tourists alike, and you will find the stunning San Juan Bautista Cathedral. It is one of the oldest churches in Mexico City, and probably part of the reason I fell in love with Coyoacan. I love that history piece. The plaza is also popular for festivals and events, adding to the lively community feel of Coyoacan. All right, so let's get into housing. There are a range of housing options here, and to suit every taste and budget. You will find charming colonial-style houses with courtyards and gardens, as well as those modern apartments with all the amenities. For rentals, a one-bedroom apartment will typically range from $700 to $1,200 US a month, and a two-bedroom can cost anywhere from $1,200 all the way up to 2,000. If you're looking to buy, it's going to be somewhere in that 150 to 300. So it's very similar to everywhere else I've looked at in terms of neighborhoods. I think Polanco is probably the most expensive, but all on par. Like I said, there are other parts of Mexico City if you really, really want to go down on your budget. But I think for what you get, I think it's very reasonably priced here. The neighborhood's mix of historic and modern housing ensures that you can find something that fits your style and budget. I personally would want something on a cobblestone street. I'm sure my husband would go, you know how old that is? But anyways, with the green spaces and strong sense of community, it's, I think, a very appealing place for retirees. Now, I know I fell in love with it, but I'm still going to go over pros and cons because what works for me may not work for you. So at the top of my pro list, because we've already established that Mexico City is quite affordable for any of us that are looking to retire here. So at the top of my pro list is that traditional Mexican feel. It has a very rich history and the preserved architecture. Absolutely love it. Green spaces, these are beautiful parks, plazas for relaxation, and it just really gives a community feel to the neighborhood. There's plenty of cultural attractions, the museums, galleries, historic sites. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. It has got a very friendly, community-centered vibe. All right, not every place is perfect, so some potential cons or drawbacks. The cost of living here, just like with all the other neighborhoods I looked at, can be higher than other parts of Mexico City. I think the value, there's a difference between cost and value. I think it is worth every penny, and it is still very reasonable compared to the U.S. Some areas, Frida Kahlo, the Plaza Hidalgo, there can be a lot of tourist activity, especially like on a weekend or, you know, a really great time of year, because they're great places, so other people want to visit them. Traffic, I think I've said this with every neighborhood, but it gets busy. And noise levels, this is also a repeat, but it is worth mentioning. That's just part of the vibe, I think. But if that's not your thing, you probably would need to be looking at maybe one of the high-rises in Polanco where you're up there with maybe the glass, and so you have the view, but you wouldn't have the noise. I think the higher you get away from the street. Other than that, I think you're going to experience some level of noise. All right, so that wraps up our deep dive into Coyoacan and our series on retiring in Mexico City. Coyoacan's blend of history, culture, community makes it my top choice for a retirement destination. It has a unique charm, a traditional feel. I think it would be a wonderful place to enjoy my retirement years. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Mexico City. If you enjoyed this series, please give it a like, subscribe, leave comments. If you think I was wrong and I picked all the wrong neighborhoods, tell me that too. I love hearing it all. I reply to everybody. This is so much fun. I'm learning a lot. I have not found my perfect destination. Coyoacán is coming really close for me. My husband arrives in a couple days, and the first place I'm taking him. Anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.